Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. So with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So I have this article here, and this is actually from Seville's, and this is the total value of global real estate. Property remains the world's biggest store of wealth. The value of the world's real estate might have dipped in 2022, but property remains the biggest store of global wealth by some margin. And this was written back in September of last year, 2023. And here we have a comparison of the real estate universe versus, for example, gold, equities, debt securities, global GDP, etc. Now, the total value of all property was standing at about roughly almost $80 trillion at the end of 2022. This has been growing significantly considering the fact that at the end of, I believe it was 2021, we were sitting at over 326 trillion or something like that. So this has been growing rapidly. Now, as this continues to grow, and as we do look at tokenization endeavors, what we look at some of the largest sort of markets out there, and this is one of those markets that is ripe for disruption. These asset classes that have trillions and trillions of dollars tied to them that are illiquid, because remember, real estate is an illiquid asset class worth over $380 trillion. This is probably going to be at the forefront of tokenization. We already know that real estate tokenization is happening. It's a big deal, and it's also happening on Hedera. Now, outside of this post, why am I bringing it up? Well, let's look into a few things. So, the HBAR Foundation recently posted this regarding Red Swan CRE. Now, I've talked to you guys about Red Swan. This is commercial real estate. It's a big deal. It's a huge market as well. The Red Swan CRE team has begun tokenizing its $5 billion plus real estate portfolio as RWAs on Hedera. Listen, we can look at the BlackRock news all day long. We could sit around pondering on how much HBAR is going to be worth because of the Black Swan news. We could, talk about the short term, but this is facts, right? Billions of dollars are being tokenized on Hedera as real world assets. Hedera has really kind of stolen the show, if you will, in terms of tokenization because of the efficiencies behind it. And I keep, talking about this tokenization. And, it might sound annoying. It might sound like I'm a broken record, but guys, tokenization is the biggest use case around this sector. Through their open source Red Swan token studio on Hedera, they are further enabling the tokenization of digital securities. Now, I'm going to go into the full read mode on this and really kind of break a few things down. Now, obviously, they mentioned the $16 trillion report from the BCG that I did include in yesterday's video. Real estate is the largest asset class within that report. Down here, we also have the BCG is just one of several firms like JP Morgan, Citi, and Goldman Sachs that identify the rapid tokenization of industries like real estate, fund management, and art as key areas of growth. Through the Red Swan Token Studio, users can participate in creating and investing in digital security tokenized assets. Users benefit from increased liquidity, fairer market prices, and a reduction in management fees, lowering cost and increasing market participation. By fractionalizing assets on the platform, the studio allows users to own a piece of commercial real estate that has traditionally been out of reach for the smaller investor. These digital shares are tradable 24/7 on the global market, helping bolster liquidity. And it's all about liquidity because when we look at real estate, it is an illiquid asset class. It is extremely hard to pull liquidity from real estate. Red Swan decided to leverage Hedera for its highly optimized and built-for-purpose Hedera token service that allows RWAs to be tokenized with a best-in-class combination of speed, sustainability, security, and low fixed fees. Red Swan can also create ERC-20 compliant securities thanks to the EVM-compatible Hedera smart contract service as well. Now, outside of this, right, back in February, I did put out a post regarding Red Swan, and I said, Ed Nwokdi, I hope that I'm saying that name correctly, from Red Swan CRE, breaking down their security token offering solution utilizing their token studio built out on Hedera. Remember that Red Swan has the largest commercial real estate marketplace with over $9 billion of tokenized shares of real estate. Now, again, not all $9 billion will be tokenized. It's over $5 billion plus that is initially going to be tokenized on Hedera. The demand that is growing on Hedera is truly something special. There is going to be so much demand and value flowing through Hedera. This is why I see HBAR becoming very valuable in the future and why I say it's extremely undervalued right now. Now listen closely to this video, and then I'm going to go over to the next slide, which kind of breaks a few things down.
One thing I think is important to note about Red Swan is that we are a full service provider. It's not, we just don't provide technology and ask the sponsor to do it themselves. We actually walk the sponsor through the full process. We create the token on our token studio. This is when we mint the token and use and issue a ticker symbol that our client is interested in and is available. We also issue those security tokens into the sponsor's wallet. We never hold on to assets because we don't have a custodian license, but we put the assets into our sponsor's wallet, and now our sponsor is able to move those assets from investors who are trying to buy to the investor wallet, which is self-custody. So we provide the issuance, we provide the cap table management, which means that any corporate communications, dividend distributions, or stock splits, whatever communication is going to the investor, Red Swan handles on behalf of the sponsor, so that the sponsor doesn't have to do business with 2,000 investors. It might be a little bit uncomfortable. And then finally, the ATS, which is what provides the liquidity for investors. So when you buy shares and you want to sell it, you now call us or let us know electronically. We move your shares to an ATS. That's now giving visibility to 10,000 people, which is going to continue to grow even more, to be able to see what you're offering and come up with a counter offer. That's how you get liquidity on security tokens.
Now, the best part about this is that this is FINRA and also SEC compliant. This is crucial to know, considering the fact that those that are going through all of the regulatory, hoops in the initial stage of this, and also those that are compliant, they will be the giants, and they will be the big winners around something like this. And considering the fact that this is built out on Hedera, it's a game changer for HBAR and for the entire ecosystem. Now, also over here, we have Red Swan CRE build its token studio on Hedera for real world asset tokenization. This happened back in May. Now, we do know that Red Swan has been working with Hedera since going all the way back to, as far as I know, 2021. There's a lot of speculation because Hedera was on the Red Swan website, and then at one point in time, it got removed. And a lot of people were questioning, like, are they still utilizing it? And we do know that they are. Now, as you guys do see in this report, they do have roughly $5 billion in assets under management. That's what they are tokenizing. They do have a portfolio, though, that is well over $9 billion. They're the largest commercial real estate marketplace out there, and they are an absolute giant, especially considering the fact that they're working with Hedera. It goes to show you just how significant Hedera is and how efficient the technology is around tokenization. Now, also, back in September of 2022, Arcadia Global was launching a new real estate tokenization platform on Hedera as well. The key thing to note with all of this is that it's platforms, it's infrastructure around tokenization endeavors. This is a big deal. Now, I utilized ChatGPT to summarize this, and we have Arcadia Global, a leader in real-world asset tokenization, has introduced a groundbreaking solution for the real estate market utilizing the Hedera token service. This solution allows for the fractional ownership of real estate properties through tokenization. By leveraging this technology, Arcadia Global aims to address various challenges faced by traditional real estate markets, such as high entry barriers and liquidity issues. The platform divides properties into smaller digital token units, each representing a portion of ownership. These tokens can be traded on a marketplace utilizing cryptocurrencies or fiat currency. Smart contracts manage property documents and ownership proofs, ensuring security and transparency. And by the way, that's a key thing to note in terms of smart contracts. Additionally, the platform incorporates KYC capabilities to comply with regulations. By lowering the investment threshold and reducing transaction costs, Arcadia Global solution aims to democratize real estate investment and increase market liquidity. Powered by Hedera's distributed ledger technology, the platform provides transparency and immutable proof of ownership, further enhancing trust and efficiency in real estate transactions. Now, Arcadia Global, like I said, this is all based around infrastructure. And the key foundation behind this. They are in the process of creating a system or platform that converts the value of tangible physical assets into digital tokens on a blockchain. And that blockchain, or in this case, Hashgraph technology, is Hedera. And here are some of the use cases. You have real estate, for example. You have loyalty 3.0, commodity trade, supply chain, pretty much anything that you can think of. can very well be tokenized, and it's all based around specific markets and industries. It's very similar to Toko, right? Like Toko by DLA Piper is a platform. Like these are all platforms, infrastructure. That's the key thing. And by the way, when we look at DLA Piper with, Toko, Ethereum and alternative public blockchains prove to have expensive and unpredictable fees, sluggish transaction speeds, forking, and unfair transaction offering. DLA Piper required a public DLT that offers native tokenization with speed, cost effectiveness, and compliance. They also required the ability for permission to blockchain framework transactions to be timestamped and publicly verifiable. They chose Hedera over all other major public blockchains and even Ethereum. It just goes to show you again how significant the technology is behind Hedera. Now, outside of this, when you go over to Toko, right, it's not just real estate. Like this is the use case around real estate. Again, you can see the use case, you can see the outcome. It's all around financing, benefits like enhanced liquidity, income opportunities, appreciation, plus transaction transparency. There's a lot of things that are very efficient through tokenization. And also, by the way, they give you guys a few things down here in terms of like the re-up fund and also even tokenization. You guys are more than welcome to go read over this, but I don't want to waste your guys' time on things that I'm not really fully focused on here. We all know the benefits around tokenization at this point in time. If you don't, there's a lot of great resources to actually learn a little bit more about that. But over here, we also have services, right? Reshaping industries with smart contracts and smart solutions. And this is all through DLT, and their DLT of choice is obviously Hedera. And we also have real estate down here, financial services, and also even legal tech. And by the way, for those that don't know, DLA Piper is one of the largest law firms out there globally. They're an absolute giant. And I do think that this use case around legal tech, by the way, this is all talking about tokenizing legal assets, including intellectual property, contractual rights, and so much more. This is a big deal, especially when you're talking about something as big as DLA Piper, which is a massive, massive giant in the law area. So definitely focus on some of these big use cases outside of just real estate as well that are building out on Hedera. Now, outside of this, right, here we have smart contracts in real estate. And this is on Hedera's website. Smart contracts real estate is gaining momentum as new ways are developed for investing in property and streamlining traditional functions. Now, back at this time, right, they're talking about more so not the value of global real estate, but specifically the market, right? The market is valued at 3.69 trillion, or at least it was back in 2021. Now, we do know that this has grown rapidly and is continuously going to grow at about roughly 5.2% per year. It's expected to grow at that point at least. Now, again, this is just the market value. We're not talking about the global value of properties, which is over 300 and almost 80 trillion. But the market value is roughly 3.7 trillion. But regardless, right, this is all based around tokenization. We can see the advantage of the smart contracts in real estate. And this is where we could see some of the big use case opportunities around it, specifically immutable record tracking or keeping, speedy and secure transfers, automated transactions. And you could also see things around like, real estate agents. So we have down here that real estate agents do still have room to contribute to this blockchain-based system. They could still connect buyers and sellers perhaps more quickly than ever. People will still need help finding the right home, negotiating prices, and forming contingency plans. Whoever first tokenizes the home, be it the owner, builder, agent, or company, could even include royalty fees for secondary sales in the smart contract of the home listing, which is a huge thing as well to really kind of mention here. And there's a lot of things already happening here. They mentioned a few players already. Property, by the way, if you guys don't know about Property, definitely go check out Property. They are a big player. I've been mentioning them heavily in the Discord and the Patreon. It is definitely a big one. But outside of this, right, like there's a lot of great opportunities around smart contracts within real estate. And it's all based on tokenization. Tokenization is the big thing behind all of this. But beyond that, right, to really kind of summarize all of this, we're not yet at the stage where these projects truly matter in terms of the value tied to them. We're still in a Bitcoin-driven market. There's a great post that I put out regarding this actually in terms of HBAR and why I believe that HBAR holders will be very rich. I said I strongly believe that HBAR holders will be very rich once we see regulatory clarity for this space and utility finally takes over. The number one question I get asked is simply why these coins aren't moving in value even with all the bullish news. It's very simple. Utility does not matter right now in the current market. This shouldn't disappoint or frustrate you. In fact, it should make you even more bullish for the future. Remember that Lehman and Mance themselves have mentioned that Hedera is focused on being a 100+ year company. We are only just scratching the surface of where we are headed. Hundreds of trillions and possibly quadrillions of dollars will infiltrate this market through tokenization. We have been here for a while. We have been focused on the moves being made, and although, yes, it's been a while behind the scenes, a lot is happening. Regulations will pave the way for these utility-focused, compliant projects to take over and be massively utilized. We are just getting started. I will say this time and time again. Right now, this market moves with Bitcoin, speculation, and hype. I look forward to when we move with actual use and when this market is truly taken seriously. Hello, future. And yes, I want to reiterate this time and time again because it is so important to understand and so important to note. When we talk about something like HBAR, and it sounds so good, right? On paper, it's like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And you go look at the price and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Because there's no way that it's this great when the price is this. I look at it as an opportunity because, right now, as we look at the space, there is nonsense moving on pretty much zero volume. And it's all still back tied to Bitcoin. When we look at something like Hedera and something like HBAR, it looks so good. And when we look at that, right? And when we look at the price and you're like, this doesn't add up. You should look at that as an opportunity because right now, utility does not matter. Look at all of the connections that Hedera already has. And this is just the tokenization space. And this is barely scratching all of the names that are tied to Hedera in terms of tokenization. When we look at the ecosystem around Hedera, all of the moves made around Hedera in just the last couple months, right? It shows you just how valuable Hedera and HBAR will be once we get away from all of this hype, all of this speculation, and we finally disconnect from the Bitcoin cycles and we're now in a utility-driven run. Once that happens, that's when you see the future Amazons, Apples, Googles, Microsofts, Nvidias, you name it. They will dominate this space. And Hedera is one of them, in my opinion. I've always talked about this on multiple occasions. Hedera is an absolute giant in the making. All we really have to do is just be patient. That's literally all we have to do. All we have to do is wait and be patient because everything is unfolding at rapid pace behind the scenes. And I know that you guys hate hearing that, but look at all the regulatory movements happening. MiCA goes live at the end of this year. By the end of 2025, you have the FSB rolling with global crypto regulatory frameworks with the G20, the IMF, the BIS, and even the World Bank. Guys, major moves are happening in order to have these utility giants fully take the wheel and take us to the promised land. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.